going to VAR. They're checking.
Hey guys.
Check complete. Let's head over to the bar.
Yo, we're back again for another episode of the VARBAR podcast. It's episode 61. Hey, I can't believe it, man. We're picking up numbers. What you man saying in it? What one?
Back again, man. On the other side of 50, man.
Boys, we're picking up numbers, but we're slightly losing numbers when it comes to pod members. But we got a good cast tonight. Everyone outside is open, but thanks for the boys for making it tonight. We got Drew in the building.
Yes, sir.
Shalom is in the building.
Yo.
Brock Boy Tabs in the building.
Hey, I'm back.
Killer Kens.
What out?
The best bear in the land, Weisenberg.
What's good?
And Big Char.
Active, man.
Like, we've got a big episode, so I'm going to have to go straight into it. Earlier this week, the news came out. It was a crazy 72 hours of football. All these top 6 clubs said, we're out of the Premier League. We're going to go run this new thing. And then 48 hours later, boy, people said, aye, this ain't going to run. The European Super League just started to collapse. Within our group, we had people that were for the Super League and people against, like myself, Jake, and Char. But Andrew and Kenna, I want to give you guys some time because you guys were for this, and obviously now it's not happened. How do you guys feel about this? Andrew, I'm going to go to you first.
It's going to happen, man. Whether we like it or not, it's going to happen. Maybe, obviously, I had a discussion with Shalom about this earlier this week. And I think what it boils down to is what we both can agree on is that the way they came out with it, or the PR in regards to this Super League, was very poor. It was poorly managed. Was very random. Obviously, managers and players came out and said like they didn't know about it. This was done behind their backs. So I think like if all that was handled well, if the fans were enlightened as well beforehand, if plans were, if in the initial plans the whole competitiveness was included in the whole Super League thing, then I think it would have been received way better than it had been. However, obviously, I like their idea. I definitely saw it from their point of view. I wasn't with the rah-rah like everyone else, man.
I have to agree with you there, Andrew, because you're right. This was really poorly managed in the way they communicated this out. Obviously, hearing that players and managers themselves didn't know that their owners were doing this, that was really poor. But what you said at the very start is actually quite important because you're not the first person to say this. Even some pundits have said this will happen again and it will likely go ahead. Jake and Char, we were obviously against this. Do you reckon there's a possibility this will actually run again?
Oh, I think it will happen within the next 5 years, max. They will come back and try it again. It's like Drew said, it was just an amazingly poor execution, which I don't see how they've done it so badly, because you think of Project Big Picture when they tried to launch that, and everyone was massively against that. And this, you could very easily argue, is even worse. So, but they will come back. There's too much money on the table for them not to come back. Like, I think Kenna brought up the point last week about how UEFA are just annoyed that they didn't think of it first. They were trying to do it their own. Like, they've got their own private equity firm, trying to do it for 5 billion or something like that. So it's definitely coming around. It was just whatever. It was just a case of they got it wrong massively, and they underestimated how vicious the reaction would be.
Yeah.
Well, you had some strong words. What do you think?
What do I think about the European Super League? I think it was the worst thing to happen to football in a long time. Like, it's just a complete and utter money grab. Like, that's what it is. Let's be fair. They're all guaranteeing themselves 350 million euro every year just for being in the competition, which they can't get relegated from. You have Madrid and Barcelona. It came out, I think, on Wednesday or Thursday, that they were going to get 60 million euro solidarity payments every year on top of what everyone else got, just to get it. Like, it's ridiculous. It really is. It's pathetic, the fact that they're rewarding their own mediocrity. And I can't hate it more. I really can't. Like, it's just, You want your club to
the-
actually have to compete.
Yeah, but just other than the competitiveness of it, do you not think it's a good idea though? Just let's say if they bring, because obviously, Perez he came out and said like this Super League is gonna happen, but we've listened to the people and we will make the enhancements that we need to make. So let's say, it will be merit based now. Do you then see the point of the Super League?
Yeah, I understand
It's
it, but
still-
then for me as well,
Still
it
a
gets
rubbish
to a
idea for
point.
me.
Yeah, I think these games are going to get so boring so quickly. I think after 3 years, playing Juve every year is going to get boring. Playing Madrid every year is going to get boring. Like, I get the whole thing of you're not wanting.
Jake, hold on. I don't think it's gonna get boring. I don't know where people get this idea from. It's gonna get boring.
Andy,
How is it boring?
let me not say it's not boring, but it's just the fact of
It's repetitive.
potentially a Leicester or even a West Ham playing Juventus. Juventus coming
So
to
you rather go to the Champions League and potentially play Ludo Goretz and them, man, rather than
It's about earning your right to play the best teams. That's the difference.
Okay, but that's what I said. So if you're
not earning your right to play the.
So this is what I said. So if you add the merit-based thing, and then only the top 5 leagues can enter this Super League. However, wherever play, only top 5. So no Scandinavia, no Ukraine, none of them. Shakhtar Donetsk, the 30 leagues.
Me, still rubbish idea.
That means you're kicking out something like Ajax when they went on their amazing to the semis. Like you're kicking out.
Can I just say something?
The Ajax one was weird though. I must agree.
Monaco. Like it's just a lot of teams that you basically alienate.
Can I just say something though, about the situation? You lot were talking about how it was done a bit poorly, but I think in the week we actually spoke about that this was kind of an ambush, because definitely these guys would have known that this is happening behind the scenes. Both UEFA and these teams would have been trying to obviously.
Bro, Donny was baffled, bro.
No, but they would have all been trying to outdo each other. So when these guys came out with it, like when the teams came out with it, it was sort of an ambush, and this is why straight away UEFA announcing the new Champions League format, and even how much they're going to give these clubs, like a lot more money, those kind of things. So you could tell that this was just a battle behind the scenes, and yeah, man, they ambushed them. You know, as you said during the week, the club sort of won because they kind of got what they wanted. And yeah, in the future, it will go ahead. It will just be, there'll be a structure to it where everyone agrees and everyone can chop. It was just, I feel like it was just like the traditional sort of people saying that this was bad for football, this was da-da-da-da-da, but they were just protecting what they know at that time. And yeah, I don't think it's good or bad. I just think, it would just take like some time to get used to at the moment.
So obviously there's all these discussions about what's happened with the Super League. Now in our own Premier League, there's now discussions of what should happen to these big six for what they did. I've seen on Twitter people are saying deduct points, find the club. Me personally, I just think the whole points deduction is stupid. I get why people want to force it, but at the same time, it's just going to punish the fans, the players, and the manager, people who were totally against this. Shalom, what do you think? If there is going to be some sort of punishment, should there, one, be a punishment, and two, if so, what should it be?
I think it should be something with legislation with owning clubs. I think they should consider how Germany does it when clubs fans own 51% of a club. So what would happen in the future is if any such thing like an ESL is proposed, fans will be made aware of it, or the fans of the club will be made aware of it without them being blindsided. I think we've seen that billionaires currently that own football clubs, especially, I have to be very clear, especially billionaires who only care for money and not for the fans, will make decisions based on money, which is fair. I mean, billionaires going to do what billionaires going to do, but we have to be in that. We have to lay those situations where fans also have a say in their club. And I think that's what needs to happen. Will it happen? I'm not sure. I just think the government just flexed their muscle a little bit just to stop this clubs from going to ESL but it has to happen. Fans need to have more say in their club, especially an Arsenal fan.
What do you want? What kind of say do you want fans to have in
So
the day-to-day running of a football club?
I'm pretty sure that
today.
No,
I'm pretty sure
that
decisions.
Yeah, like if you're a shareholder, you're not in the day-to-day running of the company, but you make the decisions because it affects you. So, for example, if say in this situation, fans had like say 25% or even 30%, which will you're not a major shareholder, but you need your votes for anything to go through, and in a corporate settings, fans will be made aware of this. And so, and in this situation, you wouldn't find random random things.
Old school, man. This is
how is it old school? It protects.
This is old school. That's why it's not been done for a long time here.
No, but it hasn't been done for a long time yet because we had a history where owners of football clubs had to respect the fans to tell them what they needed to hear or tell them the right things. Now clubs, I'm talking about the top six, are being run by billionaires who only care for themselves. Clearly, as you can see what's happened in the past few days, we need to be put in that situation where fans now have their say in the club which they love and they've supported for most of their lives, and they also give to the clubs. Not like they're not paying for the clubs.
Remember when I was saying to you lot that like these people, like including the players, they don't really understand what this is all about. This is how I've had a feeling about this for a long time, and I'm kind of losing interest in football a lot all the time, Shalom, just because of the point you're making. Like the Conkeys don't, from our point anyway, don't care about football, don't know a thing about football. So they're just business minded. And I think one executive from one of the clubs came out and said it and said, look, we're a business before we care anything about football first. It wasn't disclosed who it was, but
I mean, sorry, Steve, just Andrew, just for your point. For example, if you want to take it to extreme, look at what Kroenke did with the Rams. He took the Rams from when they were to LA. He didn't care. He just took them there. So imagine this guy decides to take them at Arsenal from from London to Spain. I know this is very extreme.
That's not going to happen.
It's very it's not going, but it happened. It happened. So you can't give people unilateral. I do agree that they pay to take over the club, but when you're in a situation like football, when fans do matter, you have to give fans some power in the club they love.
I guess what you're asking for, Shalom, is maybe not power, but you would have wished that they consulted.
Yeah.
You wish that they had consulted to say, would the fans like to see this? And then put it down to a vote, however they do it, whether it's on Twitter, on Sky Sports, Red Button, Twitter. Whatever. No, I'm just giving an example of what he wants, because realistically saying that we're going to own the club is not realistic.
No, we can't own the club because I don't think we should. I'm just saying there has to be a little bit of shares or power given to the fans, so owners don't make unilateral decisions, which also affects us in a bad way, just like it happened with ASL. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, isn't Boris suggesting that apparently?
He was just using that to flex his muscles, man. He wasn't.
That Boris can get out of here, man.
I thought they're trying to do the German model, where
Yeah, that's what I said. I doubt they will.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously we're still suffering. We're not so much suffering, but so much is still coming from all this Super League stuff. So I'm sure in the next week there'll be more updates. And as always, we'll be keeping you guys on the loop on the socials if we hear anything and spreading the news. Moving on to another subject that's been going around for years, really. Char, you must have dropped this into the group. The social media boycott. And I know me and you, Char, had some back and forth messages. I think this whole... So for anyone that's not aware, that's listening, I think it's on the 29th of April. I'm not sure exactly, but for 4 days.
Next weekend, I believe.
Yeah. The 30th, sorry, from 3 p.m. Till the 3rd of May. I don't even know. For 4 days, 3 days, whatever it is, there's going to be some sort of social media boycott. Charles, was it all the clubs, players, or?
Yeah, so everyone within sort of basically that falls underneath sort of the English football sort of domain. So all the leagues, including sort of the PL.
Me and you obviously had our conversation. I obviously thought, I don't think this is going to do anything, but you believe this could start something, right?
Look, I probably agree with you more than how it came across, and it's that is it enough? Of course not. Like, of course, it's nowhere close to being enough. However, like I was just thinking about it from sort of a business monetary sort of situation, in the sense that a lot of these footballers, they get paid an awful amount of money being on Instagram. Like a lot of these footballers, I think Instagram will sort of stand up and take notice with this boycott. Does it mean it's going to eradicate racial abuse online? I can't say that with my chest. However, I do think it's a ploy that hasn't been done before. So yeah, I'm probably going to be on the side of being sort of positive that, look, if Instagram, if Twitter come out and basically say that, yeah, we're going to put things in place to basically stop it and make it harder for people to abuse, then it's worked. Is it going to stop racism? Of course not. But if it goes away, if it goes to a point where it can eradicate aspects of it, then yeah, I'm all for it, really.
Do you know, from my side, I actually hate this so much, of where we've just spoken about for 15 minutes about ESL, of where we've had Boris come out. Where's Boris on this topic? Where's the government making statements on this topic? It's so bad, man. It's not gonna do anything. It's gonna be in 2 weeks' time, bro. We'll forget it ever happened. Nothing will happen,
bro. Sky. Let me not even talk, man. Sky are so insufferable with this ESL thing that they're still talking about. Even Sky Germany, they're moving. Sky Sports, they're moving mad. But with this, bro, how much airtime have they given this?
So they gave it like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then moved
and this is why, bro. Like, you just have to take with a pinch of salt, man.
Can I tell you, man?
I mean, if there's anything we have to take from this conversation, is that if you have power, then you can do anything. So that's what we
feel like, you know, like I was making a point, I think, to the guys the other day, and I'm going to sort of bring it here. And I feel like obviously, don't get me wrong, it goes without saying that I agree half-heartedly that there's not enough energy being shown on more important aspects of football in terms of racism than there is here. But it's almost like people, like, I feel like people are more angry about things that we already know than stuff we don't. Like, this is nothing new. We've always known that in this country, especially, racism isn't at the forefront of people's mindset, or it isn't. So it's almost like, how I look at it in this way is almost, I'm looking at it as standalone. Of course, I can sit here and get angry and get upset about the fact that the energy isn't being shown to racism, but it's never. This is nothing new.
But
so it's almost no. Let me land. But when it comes, like, it's almost like people are surprised that the energy is being shown to, like, the English football are inseparable. So it's almost like if you try to touch their football, of course, everywhere you turn, you're going to see the news about it. Like, of course, like, it goes without saying. So I feel like, am I annoyed that the same energy isn't being showed with racism? Of course, but it's always been like that. And do we want it to change? Yes, but almost getting annoyed at people like Sky and stuff like that is almost redundant, because it's like, it's been like that for years. Well,
we can still.
We're still not going to keep quiet about it.
We can still be annoyed.
Because what you guys were just saying is just that, like, I'm not even going to talk too much about it. But I'm just like, hey, cool. So then, what is the point of bringing it up then? Because it's almost like whenever you do talk about it, it's pointless.
Okay, so for example, if we all come together and tell FIFA or UEFA, with racism, we're looking for at least a 1-year ban. That's everyone coming together and telling FIFA, the FA, everyone. Do you reckon that would be an acceptable, ban for racism?
Of course, but it won't stop people being racist, and that's my point. Like,
I guarantee you, because I guarantee you, if being racist to a fellow player, if you get a 1-year ban or a lifetime ban, like the same way that Andre Onana got a ban for accidentally taking his wife's drugs, he's got a 1-year ban for football. He can't play football at all because he took accidentally, and UEFA accepted that it was by accident. Yet he's banned for 1 year.
Yeah.
Someone
someone being racist is given a 10-match ban. I'm gonna while out if the whole for 24 hours, 48, 72 hours, they're talking about this ESL thing like it's the maddest thing that's ever happened.
Bro,
Then
they
1
didn't
week
do
ago-
starting lineups, bro. That was mad.
Bro,
on the Monday.
When a week before the ESL thing, Glenn Kamara got pammed. You get me? So the Slavia Prague players against Arsenal, they didn't take the knee. They didn't do nothing. So for me, I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to...
Again, no, it's not about... No, I'm not saying do not talk about it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is these institutions that we're basically hoping that is going to basically help eradicate racism within football are people like UEFA, FA, who have already shown they're incompetent and they're not going to be able to do it. So it's almost like I'm looking at...
Do you not think this is why the reason these football clubs are doing this boycott? Because people have voiced those opinions as well. Players, Bamford came out. There was another player that like white players actually came out and said like, there's no, ESL, is bad, but the same energy is not being kept with racism.
But what I don't understand
this is why this reactive response is coming from the English football teams, which is fine, which I kind of like it. Let's see where this will lead to. But I'm not going to be happy until there's like actual bans, point deductions being given to clubs and players.
Exactly. Also, what I don't understand
that's what I'm saying to Munya.
If clubs can band together, especially the ESL clubs, and band together to, create a new Super League, and clubs come together and tell UEFA this has to stop.
That's true as well. I agree with that.
So I don't understand.
You have to think about it as well, Shalom. How many of those teams that are in ESL are really affected by it? As in, like Madrid and Barcelona, when they come, they won't really. That's not going to be at the forefront of their agenda. Maybe the Premier League clubs, it might be, but I doubt that would be something that they.
Every single club is benefiting from a black player.
I know.
So Tabs, are you saying there is no racism in La Liga then?
I'm not saying that
they don't care.
No.
They don't care about it.
I'm saying it's not.
So what I'm saying is that it should be cared about. It should be either number one, number two topic being discussed, and it is not because it doesn't like.
It should be the number one topic being discussed, of course.
Like Tab says, in a way, I think if it's not money, then we don't want to hear about it. But when you start making racism about money, which really and truly kind of is, but anyway, that's another conversation. Clubs will start taking more, be more worried about it, and we will start having conversations about ending racism or stopping it than this conversation we're having.
Not even to make it like a political thing. Obviously, I know we're going to move on after this, but like all of these institutions are institutionally racist as it is. like all like the government, like they're all. If you look at the hierarchy with UEFA, if you look at the hierarchy in FA, if you look at the hierarchy in most of these institutions, where are the black people? Where are the black people?
Where is the diversity?
Are represented? Where's the diversity? So it's almost like, bro, you're basically asking people who clearly don't care enough to care.
This is it.
More than what they care about as number one, and that's where my frustration is. The quicker we get people that are gonna represent black people and ethnic minorities into positions of power, the more we can then say, "Cool, this is what we're going to change."
Then that's fine.
But until then, where's the energy for me?
But then you can understand us why we not caring about the ESL like that, because you give energy to other things.
And that's the point. Yeah, no, facts, 100%, and I agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of the conversations we could be having for a very long time. But we just hope, as Charles was saying there, we need some change, especially within the hierarchies. But I'm sure when we do the episode after the boycott, we'll see what happens, because it's just a matter of just seeing if anything's really going to change. But let's get into the games, man, because it's been an interesting week, and we're going to go straight into the most recent game, probably the biggest game of the weekend. We like to call it the Caribbean Cup, but obviously the Carabao Cup final. Tottenham Hotspurs having a chance to break their 13 years duck. Man City looking to win their fourth EFL trophy in a row. And yeah, Man City ended up being the winners with a 1-0 victory over Spurs. I think the goal was quite late into the game from Eric Laporte. People were telling me that it should have been a red card. Andy, you thought it was a bit harsh. You didn't think it was going to be a red card at all.
Because obviously we was talking about it before, but I was talking about the first incident, but I forgot that he received the second a yellow card after that particular incident, where he tackled Harry Kane from behind. I think that's what people were screaming about.
So one of those. But
that was a good tackle, man. Jesus.
That was for me. That was a good tackle as well.
That was Diaz you're talking about, Andy. When he tackled
that was Diaz. Which one was the Emerick Laporte one? Because then I'm getting confused.
I think there was a counter attack from.
It was a counter
He stopped someone.
Yeah. Counter attack. He stopped him.
Yeah, and it was like 2 identical fouls as well, man. He should have been off. Let's talk Turkey.
No, but that's subjective.
I think the ref just wanted to play, just have a good final. But I get the point.
He was poor, man.
I get the point. If this was the Premier League, he would have given a yellow card, which is fine. But you have to pick your luck when you find it.
But the thing is, that's all well and good, but regardless, City deserve to win, man.
Yeah. Let's give City their flowers first before we go to Tottenham, because I know Ken is itching to talk about a certain. But as you said, that Andy, City just did City. I think people were saying this is probably most one-sided game. You saw it 0-0. It was still like after 80 minutes, but City just had control of the game. They never panicked, and it's the Pep way. They just knew they would get one chance, and which they did get. Great header from Laporte, and they just saw the game. Obviously, a week ago, City were at Wembley and lost to Chelsea, but they've now got the first trophy. How great is this Man City team, Char?
Man,
I know. I went to you because I know it's going to happen.
Boy, nah, man. Look, as much as obviously the ops in it, like you can't fault them. You can't fault them in it. They're just I was just looking. You know what it is? I was looking at their bench, and the players they had in their bench. I was just like, no wonder I think they've won it 4 times in a row now, right? They historically this competition is always you start with obviously a weaker team, and as you grow into the tournament, you then obviously go and start picking your best 11. Like, what is City's weakest team? And they've shown it time and time again, especially in this competition. But I can't lie. As much as I hate saying this, and I've always been the one. I've been very quick to jump on the Pep is a checkbook manager coach. But it's one thing having obviously the pawns in it, but it's another thing being able to know how to move. And Pep is obviously. Yeah, I think is it 14 wins in finals out of like 15 games now. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Regardless of the way you look at it, it's nuts, isn't it? Just because everybody knows in a one-off game anyone could win. So the fact he's always on the winning side, and it just shows that he's probably the best man. Well, he is the best manager in the world. He's been the best manager for the last probably decade. City have fair play to them, and they've got rid of a lot of their big talents in Silva, Company, Yaya in a couple of years, and now they're Phil Foden, man, different. Man,
different gravy, man.
Flowers.
What a player! And I think you mentioned obviously, as I said, the game was actually quite level for a long time. But Kenna, I know you were quite keen to be vocal. Certain. Gareth Bale was brought to the club. He started on the bench. Like, if you're bringing a big player, he's a big player man. Do you think Mason messed up there?
No. I think the only one they messed up is the Harry Winks one. But in my opinion, Mason set up as best as he could. That was the best team, minus maybe in Ndombele, that Spurs could have put out. It was just the way they were set up was horrible, where if someone had missed the last week and didn't know Mourinho was sacked, you would have thought that was a Mourinho right out of his handbook. Or park the bus. Let's see where we're at 60 minutes. Let's see where we're at 70 minutes. And then let's try and win it in the last 15 minutes of where they were holding on for dear life, man. I've seen City in this competition go away to like Cheltenham. Cheltenham put up a better fight than Spurs today. Spurs were horrible, absolutely horrible. And arguably as well, the person realistically Bale would have replaced was Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura was their best player. So, yeah. Bale, like I said at the beginning of the season, it is what it is. I don't even need to repeat it. But Spurs as a whole, man, horrible showing, man. They let themselves down more than anything.
They're actually a poor team, man.
It's funny because we've been kind of overwhelmed with this the European Super League that we forgot Jose Mourinho was sacked like on the week the weekend just gone.
This last week of football was in a madness.
Jake, like, we've actually just forgot about this. Jake, that's your former manager. Do you think if he was in charge today, he would have done one over Pep?
Well, I mean that's a dangerous game to start playing. No, I really don't. I think Levy, best case scenario, is probably thinking he's getting that new manager bounce. He's getting the new voice in the room that would try and motivate the players, maybe bring the players back from the brink. But I don't think he's winning that. Like, we all saw Harry Kane. He couldn't run to save his life. Like, he obviously wasn't fit. I get why he started, because they are a two-man team at the minute, Spurs. And if you're missing Harry Kane, they are just so dull. But then when he can barely walk, let alone run, he didn't provide anything anyways. That team, they went there to not do anything.
I'm sorry, yeah, but I know Levy gets always the praise about being such a tactical businessman, yeah, and I know Jose wasn't like pulling up any trees like when he was obviously as Tottenham boss. But if there's one manager that in a one-off game you need at touchline, yeah, I do like for the life of me, I've been racking my brain trying to understand the reason. And obviously, I think there's been news that apparently that it was because of payout he got rid of him. But 6 days before the biggest game of your season, probably the biggest game that Tottenham have had in the last since probably the Champions League, and you sacked probably the best one-off coach in the world.
Make it make sense.
No. But then, as I always say, Newman always give me stick for it. I always say about especially FA Cup and Caribbean Cup, it clearly doesn't matter like that. Like, for the sense they're thinking about...
Kenna, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop you there. Because this is different.
It doesn't matter,
everyone,
everyone
knows.
That's a completely different... Yeah,
this is Spurs that have not won a trophy in 13 years. It doesn't matter what trophy they get. You get that winning feeling.
No, and I hate this. I hate all of that, but I'm trying to put it into perspective of, especially Levy. To me, I wouldn't have done it. I'm not saying I would have, but he clearly looked at it. I was like, okay, the financial impact of this, not sacking Mourinho and winning Caribbean Cup potentially. He thought, nah, it's not that much. Let me gamble. He didn't care, bro. He didn't care.
No, but that's Levy being
because he's trying to save the peas. Because he's trying to save the peas. If Mourinho wins and they try to sack him,
that's just him being a businessman.
It's obviously going to be like the Conte thing where he had won the Prem. Do you get it? And then Chelsea sacked him.
It doesn't matter, man. The Caribbean Cup anyway, man.
It's not that it doesn't matter, but in contract law.
Let me ask you, man, this. Before all of the chat about the game, did you, man, know City had won it last 3 years? I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't.
Everyone knows this because they take the competition seriously.
I didn't know that.
Bro, they take the competition seriously.
You need to know ball, bro.
Everyone knows. Come on.
Kenna, this is what I keep saying to you, that your opinion of these trophies isn't everyone else's.
And it's quite a lot, then.
Fair enough, Carling Cup is not a priority, yes. But City take it seriously, as Munya said in the beginning, or Stephen rather. As he said, they always field the strongest team. Because it's
the strongest team. They've got a better squad than everyone else, bro.
Yeah, but then the thing is, Kenna, because your club is not going for these trophies actively, that's why you think it's not...
Dumb it down.
It's not about my club one little bit. Don't ever make it about my club.
Nah, bro.
Don't ever make it about my club.
But that's the mentality. Because even when Andy's like, yeah, I want to win FA Cup, you're like, nah, bro, that don't mean nothing to me, or whatever it is.
Yeah, Kenna, that's your opinion, bro. But
how can you say it doesn't mean anything to a team that hasn't won a trophy, has won one
exactly.
trophy?
That trophy that they won was that one as well.
Come on. Yeah, come on, man. That's cap, Kenna, you know it, man. I know you're trying to dumb it down the whole competition. I understand you don't rate it, but to say it wasn't important, bro, that's like probably that's the biggest game that Tottenham have played in years. Come on.
And I think even like comparing it to the Champions League final, this is probably the one that the most chance to win, maybe. It's like Charles said, like you need to make it make sense in your head of why they would sack Mourinho like 6 days before.
It has to be money. It has to be money.
It has to be. And I mean, as for Tottenham fans, I don't know what's going through your head right now. Obviously, you would have thought this would have been it. So Calvin, wherever you are, I know you keep leaving the group chat. Stay strong. Salom, were you going to add in something there? Sorry, I didn't catch you.
I don't think it's money. I think he just made a decision because he acted hastily. and obviously knowing who Mourinho is, why wouldn't you? So,
But don't you sack him before the Everton game because he drew like if they were all planning to sack him, I would have sacked him like a long time ago because not much has been changing. If that makes sense,
I don't think
timing was
really and
just
truly as an owner of a club, you sack a coach, the best coach you have in regards to winning a trophy with his record. You prioritize money than trophies because you know if you win a trophy, you can now galvanize your team.
Yeah. I would have waited till after.
Yeah,
after
which
this.
means you would win more.
What do you reckon the reason why then?
I think he probably said something to him. Mourinho being the type of personality he is.
In the moment sort of thing.
Yeah, argument, and he just said, you know what?
There was rumors about Jose basically standing up for the whole thing in it, and I think they
that was
quenched
cap. That was cap.
Yeah. So I think Jose would have gone, but if he won a trophy, then that's a good thing. Ultimately, you want to win.
The timing is a bit suspect, but
very, very suspect.
Smells, man. It smells at all. Because as much as don't get me wrong in it, like City were completely dominant, but when Spurs go into that last probably 10 minutes of the game where it was 0-0. What manager in the world would you want to be there to sort of see out that last 10 minutes?
When's the last time you see Mourinho do this? When's the last
time you got to? Last time he went to a cup final, he won it.
Exactly, no, but that's 4 years ago. Mourinho has been finished for a minute.
Yeah, I think to be honest, man, I don't even think it's a Mourinho. I think this Spurs team is just whack, man. I'm sorry.
They stink, man.
Yeah.
They
smell.
I was watching them against Everton.
You said no man, Andy. You actually said this as well. No manager. You said it sort of. No manager could resurrect the Spurs team.
No manager's resurrecting this team, bro.
People were telling me in December the Spurs team had character. Blah 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 blah.
So sticking on the Spurs team, we all know there's some key players in that team, and I mean, no disrespect to other players. There's two very key players, as Andy said, Son and the main man himself, Harry Kane. Lads, it's a defeat for Tottenham. It's potentially looking unlikely for top 4. Are these two still going to be there next season?
It's tight, man.
Yeah. The thing is, Levy's got lucky of where we're still in a pandemic era of where realistically, no one they're gonna what's the right word? Price him out of a move, and
Super League ain't one in either. So
exactly. So they've got one more shot for me. One more shot next season. Get the manager right in the summer of whoever.
I think that would be career suicide, man.
That would be a detriment to Kane. I think right now Kane is probably.
But he hasn't got an option for me. That's how I look at it.
You always have an option. There's something called play power. Yes, Levy will be difficult, but if Kane wants to leave, he will go.
And Shalom, I think we spoke about this of where the only way for me he gets a move is by something he won't do. Is he says he's not going to play. That's the only way he has to.
Yeah, he's not. I don't see him moving
legend.
Difficult. Yeah,
he's a Tottenham legend. He's not going to do that.
He's a fan as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's
but
tight,
also Levy knows that, and Kane is hoping Levy understands that that's not.
Yeah. That's what I said last time. They have to dinner at my yard. Let's talk, fam.
They have to sit down. You know what, bro? You know what's really frustrating, and I think back to Tottenham's Champions League final when Kane didn't actually take them there. What's his name? Lucas Moura did. And I thought rather than, repaying Moura for doing that, they started Kane, even though Kane was 100% fit. And for me, I don't think that would have been, looking back at it, they shouldn't have done that. And history repeats itself again.
Pochettino, bro. That's
man's dogs. It's the same Spurs. Like, I don't think they learn. You have to, because what I don't get
history,
is like,
bro. It's the history.
What I don't get is like Arsenal, when we play City, we lose to them in the league. But for some bizarre reason, when we play against them in finals and semi-finals, we tend to win. So, like, it's not like we have better players than City, but we just tend to win. Why can't Tottenham do the same?
You man are a cup team. They're not.
Don't say that because historically Tottenham has City's numbers in some games. So I don't see how they don't replicate that in more important games. I don't get that. But,
anyways, we could be here for a while, but I think we need to move over to the Premier League results. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Tottenham now. They've lost. Obviously, the manager odds are all stacking up. We've got Sarri in the mix, Scott Parker in the mix. But I would like to ask Calvin what he thinks, but hey ho, he's out there drinking his sorrows. Staying with you, Kenna, because you like to be a bit mouthy. Your club hosted Newcastle. As Chad would say, it wouldn't matter where Liverpool are playing. You man have dropped points at home again.
Bad team.
Finished 1-1 after Liverpool took the leads. Not only did Newcastle have a goal disallowed in added time, but they managed to get a late equaliser from Arsenal loanee Joe Willock, who seems to be finding form at Newcastle, his level. What's going on, Kenna, man? Like, you needed these 3 points.
Bro, I just hate this team, man, of where I don't know what to expect from them. Home, away, anywhere. I don't know what's going to happen. Of where in the first half, to be fair, I really liked us. We played really well. We set up exactly how me and Andy like, 4-2-3-1. All our shooters on the pitch. And we just dominated the first half. Dominated. They couldn't lay a glove on Thiago in the first, I would say, 60 minutes, or at least when he was on the pitch. Salah took his goal magnificently well, man. It was such a great finish. And then leading into that, Jota had chances, Mane had chances, Firmino had chances, and we just couldn't score. And playing to what Andy said, Andy, at around 50, 60 minutes, called it, and he went, I can see this being a Leeds. And that's exactly how it played out, man, of where we kept Newcastle in the game. And then as soon as it hit around 70 minutes, I think they chucked Wilson on. And then with the last 10 minutes, put Willock on. And I said it in the group chat, and I popped up, I went, Willock goal pending. And there we go, man. I thought we got away with it, as Munya said, when that dodgy handball, it should have been a goal, goes in. All we had to do was hold on another, I think, 45, 50 seconds, and we still couldn't.
I don't get it.
Horrible.
Oh, that's Spurs levels, man. That was, yeah, I ain't got no words, man.
Now we want to hear from you, bro.
What do you want to hear, man? I was absolutely finished after that. Finished. I don't understand these players, man. Jota, Kenna was saying everyone was good. Jota was poor. Robertson was poor as well. He didn't really offer that much going forward. Yeah, I mean, Salah. I want to at Salah, but again, he was the one that scored our goal, but he could have scored more. You know what I mean? But you can't at him at the same time. Mane, Firmino, I'm looking at them, and you know what, man? If we have to cash in on one of them, please, man, because yeah, I think we have to, man. Obviously, preferably Firmino, but
it has to be done, man.
It has to be done, man. Even
it doesn't. This is the thing. I don't think it actually does, because no. Listen, because we in the same breath, people praise City for having a great squad. Why can we not be like them, but add another great attacker? Like, why? Because if you looked at our bench yesterday, Andy, it was disgusting, man.
Yeah.
Of the people we're turning
Facts.
to. It's horrible. It's horrible. At least in the same breath of where we're like, okay, we're bringing on Mane or Firmino. You're like, okay, we know what they can do. But at the minute, we're turning to Ox, Shaqiri, Origi. Come on, man. Yeah. Sickening, man. It's sickening. But it's the character more than anything, man. Like even that mentality monsters thing is absolutely in the ground.
Even listening to Klopp's post-match interview, yeah, he was done as well. He was like, yeah. I know strikers coming in. Long story short.
Right. I mean, okay, you lot have been very critical of your club, but let's also give some flowers to Newcastle, but more in particularly St. Maximin. He is just doing something different at that club when he's fit. Jake, where is his next move? Because he's not Newcastle level.
No, he's not. I could see maybe in Everton. I don't think, or maybe a Spurs if they really want to fork out money. But the problem is, you think it's similar to Kane, and he's more likely to force a move out. But
yeah, he's on a death row contract as well.
Yeah, and Mike Ashley's going to know his value. He's going to know he has severe value in that club, whereas not many of the other players do. So it's going to cost a pretty penny to prize him out of there. Yeah. And the thing is with St. Maximin, like he will go on a tear for 5-6 games, but then you don't hear from him for 10 games.
Gets injured.
No, I think that's unfair. No,
that's because of the team he's playing for.
Yeah, Jake.
And the injuries as well.
If you actually watch him
it looks like a one-man band, man.
Yeah.
Bruv.
He does a lot. He does a lot.
He is nuts.
Yeah, Jake, I can't lie. What's his name you bought from Ajax? I keep forgetting his name, the left footer. If he doesn't do well, I can see you guys grabbing it. I can see
when
you actually think about it, a lot of players actually are like that, especially attacking players. There's times where players will have 5-6 amazing games and then they'll smudge a joint out for like 1-2 months, like 1 or 2 games.
Let me ask you,
I think attacking players are just like that.
Munya, if I ask the boys, what St. Maximin is doing now, right? Is it any better than what Traore was doing last season for Wolves?
Yeah.
He's actually...
Yeah, it is better.
He's giving assists and goals. Traore...
Yeah, nah.
Traore was playing in a very, very, very better team as well. Sorry.
Even eye test we show that he's better than Traore.
Yeah, eye test.
Don't even run that.
He's better.
Come on.
Every time
I hate Canada because Traore was putting numbers though. To be fair, to
he
him.
was putting numbers on the board.
Putting up numbers.
St. Maximin was doing bits last season and this season. What are we doing this season?
It's one of them ones.
Yeah,
with him. Even without numbers, I'm still taking him.
Yeah, facts.
Even without numbers, I think. Bro,
every time he collected a ball, I like players like this. Bro, man was just looking forward.
Yeah, exactly. He loves to run at players. He loves.
No. Munya. That's why I asked about Traore, because if people remember, Traore had, I think the only Messi had more dribbles than him across all of Europe. So you giving him that praise, it's the same for Traore.
But I can't. We've seen that from him for one season.
Messi's dribble and Traore dribble, 2 different things. I get that. This is why like numbers can lie. I can't lie. His dribble is just take the ball and he's zooming past.
Bro, how many times do you see that Traore?
Bro, how many times do you see Traore was doing a madness last season?
No one's denying that. No one's denying that. But how many times do you see Adama Traore, especially even last season? Man will hit the bar line and just stand it up bare high.
But then he's got better numbers than St. Maximin.
I think they're so similar. But I'm saying strip the numbers away. I think quality of football wise,
bro, but
Maximin is better. I just think he's better.
But yeah,
I agree.
I'm having ASM, man. But I hate Kenner.
I would say that to you last season too.
So can we agree that he needs a move up to a better team before we judge?
I think he can. Jake said Everton. I think he can do like. I think Leicester now can be considered a top 6 team in my opinion.
I can't lie. I'll take him an Arsenal.
That'd be a great sign.
Yeah, exactly. I think he can do a top 6 team easily. Top 6, 7, however you want to do it, but yeah.
If Son and Kane leave, then like Tottenham is another shout. But hey, those are the transfer talks we'll be getting to as soon as the season finishes. We're gonna stay with Weisenberg. His team went over to Stratford to play West Ham. A game that we all knew was going to be good, but not as many goals as we thought there would be. And again, no offense to Jake, but a goal scorer we probably weren't expecting. Timo, the man, comes to save the day with the only goal off the game, and a stupid VAR incident again when VARBARPOD got sent off for maybe something that wasn't really a red card. But let's go to Timo, man. He's got a goal, and then not too long after missed a sitter, but importantly he got the winning goal. How was that for you, Jake, to see him score again?
I mean, I think Perez put it in the chat, like, I actually expected him to miss. And to be fair, I think that is the point with Timo at the minute. You are expecting to miss more than score. So it is good to see him do it. I mean, like you say, they missed that sitter at the start of the second half where it's just like, they zoomed in on Tuchel and he could just simply not believe what he was seeing. I mean, I'm glad he scored, don't get me wrong, but am I expecting it to be consistent for the rest of the season? No. I think especially the way Tuchel's been rotating the squad, he's constantly chopping and changing to keep everyone fit and fresh. So, I mean, I've been happy with Timo. I think he still has underwhelmed. I'm not going to deny that, but he is still showing that team consistency, that team production, like he's still getting his assists. I mean, he's got 20 goal and assists now for the season. Like, for a flop, he's done pretty all right for the whole Shane Long comparisons. So, I'm not expecting it to be consistent for the end of the season. I think he still struggles with his touch. I think for next season, especially, I think he really, for me, I'd want him to be watching tapes of Jamie Vardy Like, I think he can be a better Jamie Vardy, where his pace is just screams spear into defenders, but then he doesn't have to be that involved in the build-up play. Like, let everyone else build it up for him and then just focus on running in behind and scoring.
I love that you said that, because I remember telling Kenna, even in the Bundesliga time, Werner is the German, or he can be the German Jamie Vardy. But
like that's not what you used. What was the term you used? What was the player?
I said Jamie Vardy, bro. No, the thing is, when he landed, I said Shane Long. But I've always check the tapes. I've always said he's a German Jamie Vardy. But obviously, like Jake brilliantly said, what was his name? Chelsea doesn't play him that way. But I think if he gets played that way, where he just runs up behind and does that part of the game, like Jamie Vardy does, then maybe you get me. But sorry, Jake, man, continue.
I agree where you're coming from. I think he needs the summer, not the summer off, because he's going to be going to Germany. But I think he just needs that time away from Chelsea. It's very much like when Pulisic, like the last international break, Pulisic goes away with America and sees some of those like friendly faces and stuff like that, gets away from the situation, comes back and is firing brilliantly. I think he probably needs that, because I mean, the last international break was that sitter against North Macedonia, which wouldn't have helped things. But it's like Chris Coleman constantly went on about it in the commentary, and it was annoying at the end. It was so repetitive. But he was saying how like Werner's not hiding. Like, I've covered it before in the pod. He's still getting into the positions. He's still doing all the right things. It's just
he'll start scoring, man.
Yeah, like, I still have faith
scoring, if not this season, next season.
Yeah, I definitely have faith in him. But it's when people say like, oh yeah, now he's got his goal, he's going to go on a run. That it doesn't happen like that. It's not going to happen for him like that. He just needs to keep trusting his process, keep trusting what he's doing, keep contributing for the team. And I think it will eventually click for him, but the sooner the better.
You've now managed to spread the gap between yourselves and West Ham, who are in fifth. Confident of now making the top four?
I am confident, but not as confident as people want me to be. Because the amount of people that have said, oh, top four's guaranteed, top four's locked up, etc., etc. I mean, our run is disgusting. So we bear in mind we've also got European football, but we've got our last 5 games in the league. Fulham at home, we should win that. That's fine. But then you've got City away, Arsenal at home, Leicester at home, Villa away. That is by far the hardest running. And like, we need every point we can get. And we look solid. Like, we don't look like we're conceding, but we do need to win these games. We can't just let up and just assume we're going to do it.
Andy, you hearing this running? And then, Jake, I don't know if you've seen Leicester's running. I think Leicester's running is actually the hardest out of all of us. And then I think realistically, you'll probably make it. But Andy, how are we allowing this to happen? We should be 4 points better off?
Bro.
Yeah.
Forget it, man.
Well, you had your chance. Moving on to another North London club who... Shalom, I don't have much to say. I mean... I don't. Why
are you calling my name?
The box office.
No, because we're the only 2 Arsenal boys in here, man.
Oh, God.
So, I mean, Arsenal played Everton in the Friday night fixture, and if there was ever a game to just sum up our season, it had to be that. It had to be that game. Everton were nowhere near in the game at all. We were controlling the game, and I'm just tired of saying this. Yeah, we lost anyways, so if you're gathering from this, Leno, I don't know, bread and butter stuff. Richarlison just runs down the wing. Xhaka brings out his centre mid himself and tries to hack a player without standing his line. Richarlison actually wants to cross the ball, and what should be bread and butter for Leno, he fumbles it through his legs and directs it into the goal. Then we went on to lose. Shalom, like, what's going on, bro?
Just to say, you man are 10th right now.
It was frustrating, like you said. We played well. We handled them. They didn't really cause us any issues, and then we just self-imploded. That's all. That's all I can say. If you want me to be critical, I wanted Arteta to play Balogun, but I understand why he played Eddie instead. That game just showed me that Eddie isn't ready. And similar to Rayon Brewster, we need to sell and get our money because he won't be ready right now. Possibly in 2-3 years' time, playing with a lower team, he will get there. We need someone better.
So I don't get why this not Martinelli. Martinelli did more in the 15 minutes he got than Eddie did in the whole.
The thing is that the game changed. Once the game changed, then you see Martinelli making those runs. But we need a striker who can hold the ball, play against the midfield, and carry the ball, run. Which Martinelli doesn't have the physique to do that. Hence why he plays as a winger, sometimes as a strength centre forward when the game calls for it. But right now, we don't have that player. And I think this game would have been perfect for a player like Balogun, but I understand the politics behind it. Like I said, you can't really... I can't blame Xhaka because you know what? That's what you're expecting someone who plays in midfield to do as a left back. But you have to ask Leonard, what were you thinking? Also, the bigger issue with the VAR, I thought that was very harsh. And when you start going into details, into minute,
it was bullshit, bro.
Yeah, whether your shoelace is offside and such, it's nonsense. It's nonsense.
But Shalom, I'm sorry, because I feel like
I know what I was saying.
We can't be saying, we can't be relying on that VAR incident.
We can't. No, not at all. But if the penalty was given and presumably Pepe scores, we're 1-0.
Can I just say something?
The game changes. Yeah, go ahead.
Not even like I know. Throughout the season, I've continuously at Arsenal, and I take great pride.
Just get to the point, bro. Don't butter
No,
up.
but like, no. It's not an that in it, so don't take it as that. But like, it's just like I was looking at Arsenal's like starting 11, and like this is I think nearly 2 years into Arteta's reign, and like I was actually surprised at the quality that's like on show, like in the sense that I think you played with Holding, Mari, Xhaka left back, Tom, Partey, Ceballos, Saka, Smith Rowe, Pepe, and Nketiah. When I look at that team, when you look at it in comparison to probably the top six, which one of those players, probably bar Saka and maybe Smith Rowe, which one of those players get into any of the top six?
Saka, and that is it.
I think
Arsenal Football Club in 2021, and you're saying only one player.
I think Smith Rowe did well, but the thing I know, Tabo keeps saying our tips are, but I really thought about this, and it's hit me that the reason why Arsenal are where they are, yes, is a combination of a lot of things, but our owners, man.
When the quality of play is not good.
Our owners, we
owners have spent though.
Spent what?
They
haven't spent. They refine. Hey, shush! They refine us.
Did you not see what I posted in the chat? So
they refinanced our debt just to give us money. That's not spending. That's refining.
They've been sucking money out. Yeah, don't get sucked in.
Yeah, don't get sucked in.
Do you mean like spending out their own pocket?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
This is the problem. When you have an owner that doesn't care about football, this is why I respect Chelsea, because as much as you can say anything for Abramovich in terms of his patience, he spends because he understands football. So that means...
No, but in the same breath, Shalom, let me just counter that in a fair way. Of I said this, I think this week, of where Liverpool are basically what we could have been.
Come on, man! I said that. I said that in the WhatsApp. I said that in the WhatsApp. Go ahead.
Arteta.
In that way, I'm saying of where our owners don't spend a lot of money. Don't be fooled of how much we spent. We spent this because of we've gambled and we also sold really well. Don't forget that. I look at Arsenal, the way Charles looked at it and go, okay, which one of these players could go for 80, 90, 100 million pounds? Saka. That's about it.
Haven't got those players.
Yeah.
Other than
Kenna makes a good point there.
So, Money, I'm sorry, like I said, the problem, what's his name? What's his name? I forgot his
Kroenke?
name. No, it's a football writer for Arsenal.
Henry Winter?
No. He's an Athletic. Forgotten his name.
James McNicholas.
James McNicholas. He said, and which is correct. If you don't have the knowledge or skills of running a football club, hire people who can do that. And in the past, we haven't done that well. He's in Milan sucking the life out of them. But
They're
we
back
have,
in the Champions League, mate.
well, those are different situations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different situations. But the problem is like we haven't done well from top to bottom, and as such, we're suffering from it. So I can't go say Arteta out. Although I do appreciate that in the top level of football, if you don't perform, you're out. But you can't perform when a lot of things are set against you. So I think a lot of people need to understand where Arsenal is. And admittedly, I would say this: we're regressing. We're not getting better.
You're actually regressing. That's what I want to make.
But what's concerning to me, Shalom, and even in what you're saying is, okay, there's multiple factors as to why Arsenal is where they are today. That's fine, but the regression is very evident under Arteta, and this is why I think he should be out of it immediately.
But do you know the thing is, Shalom,
you can't say the same with Wenger
it's
and his
easier
last couple
said
of
than
seasons.
done, Andy. It's easier said than done
Why is there regression?
Because with Arsenal,
you guys agree that it's a result.
It is. No, but what Andy makes a good point about Arteta right now. But the problem with Arsenal is that Arteta isn't one that's going to challenge the board like other managers. This is why the board likes Arteta, because he won't challenge them. He'll just get in there, do what he's told to do, and get on with his job. And I think that's the sad reality of it. So as we always say, Tosin says, things won't change till the things at the top change.
I've got a question for you, man. Though, if you man win Europa, is his job tenable?
It's really sad. It's really sad, Steven, because we can't necessarily. It's annoying because if we start winning, that gives the green light to the owners that they.
That's my point. Like,
they can proceed with this.
I think yes, to be honest.
It's a very difficult one.
Enough.
I don't think it's difficult. I think hold on, Munya. Sorry, quickly. I don't think it's difficult because at the end of the day, the Europa League is long and sluggish. It's a long and sluggish tournament. But even from the beginning, Arsenal didn't have the best team in Europa League. So if he navigates the Europa League as he has done so far quite well, I didn't expect the Sparta Prague result. So if he wins that, I feel like that's grace. You're back in the Champions League. You've won your first European trophy. He's done what previous managers couldn't do. That's grace. He has to stay. If not, then
of course he stays.
I'm for him to leave.
Of course he stays, but I don't think it's good for like the future because it just shows the owners that they can continue running us this way. It's not good.
All right. So the last game in the Premier League from our clubs was Leeds against United. As Charles just kissed his lips, there was a goal fest in the reverse fixture. However, this one was more of a snooze fest. Finished 0-0. I mean, I don't really know, Charles, what you would say from that performance.
Keep it light, man. It was dry, bro. It was just like boring football. Both teams did well. I'd probably say we probably shaded it in terms of opportunities, but it was nothing substantial in it. It looked like we were already thinking about the big game we have on Thursday. So yeah, very, very boring game.
You might have nothing to play for in the league, realistically. You've got seconds. Realistically, you've got seconds.
But Ole's been basically been saying that he wants to basically not like a rubbish second, and like you're basically like 13, 15 points away from top. He wants to stay as close as possible to City.
Makes no difference.
Performances like that. No. Obviously, in terms of where we stay, of course, but I think in terms of morale, it does. Those sort of small margins, I think, makes massive differences. But yeah, man, it was a poor game. But yeah, on to Thursday.
Yeah, we'll just keep it short and sweet. As Charles said there, we've got the Champions League and Europa League semi-finals, so listen up for the next episode where we'll be reviewing how all the teams got on with their first legs. As you know, Chelsea are remaining in it, Arsenal are still in it, and so are United. But boys, it's time for them shots, man. Who's got some shots this weekend?
I'm going to go first. I'm going to give a shout out to the Chelsea fan who brought the "We Want Our Cold Nights in Stoke" poster. That was just fair play to him. That was creative genius from him. So that's my shot. And then to the rest of the Chelsea fans actually showing up and protesting because it was
I got a shot for Clinton Morrison. I've seen a few clips online. I think he's had a few. He's been sort of spitting basically on Sky in regards to the energy that's basically being shown to the issue of racism, which is obviously means a lot to sort of different people. He I wouldn't say he wilded out or he spazzed, but basically he was just like the energy needs to be shown for racism, like it was for the Super League. In 2-3 days, we managed to banish Super League, so that energy needs to be shown in things that mean more. So yeah, shout out to him, man. I know a lot of people who go on Sky and almost fold, but yeah, he was real with it. So shout out to him.
Yeah, I got a shot. Congratulations to City for winning the Carabao Cup. Well done.
I'm not taking that shot, man.
Now I got a quick shot. A quick shot just to back up Char a little bit. I've got a shot for Uncle Florentino Perez, man. We lost the battle, man, but the war, we'll win the war. We'll come back stronger, man.
Give me that shot, man.
We'll go again, man.
I've said it to you, man, before. I hope when you man get rich, boy, don't forget me, innit? That's what I'm saying.
Bro. They'll give it more peace. They'll give it more peace to the.
Hey, we'll save it. One last shot. For
I'll have a shot as well, mate.
Go on, Taz. You have your shot, mate. And I'll do
you know what? I've had enough of Arteta and Arsenal Football Club. Just want to say that if he doesn't win Europa, thank you, Arteta, for the good times. But yeah, it's time to leave. And we can just move on and get our next manager, man. Because I feel like as Arsenal fans, we're just making excuses, saying that, he's just fixing it. But yeah, man, we just need someone else. So that's my shot this week. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that one, Taz. So remember you as I'll have to out from now on going forward. But yeah, I was just saying, my shot goes out to our pub member who's not been able to make it. He went to Wembley, couldn't get a ticket. Steve Strider, wherever you are, this is just a number pain. I know it's been hard, 13 years, you're nearly a grown man. Well, you are a grown man. The curse continues, the history continues. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, guys. This is the VAR lot, and we're out. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, guys.